Hello students, welcome back to the seventh part of first module of Marketing of Services. This is Dr. Ram Singh, Assistant Professor, School of Management, BBD University, Lucknow. So this is your last part of this module. So let's move ahead. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the concept of segmentation, targeting, positioning and differentiation of services. So we know that in market there are the customers with their various kinds of needs, right? So it is not possible for the service provider to fulfill all these various needs at a same time. So it is very much required that to identify the customer with similar kinds of needs so that those needs can be properly fulfilled by the service provider, right? So market segmentation is the process of defining and subdividing a large heterogeneous market into homogeneous market having clearly identifiable segments with similar needs, want or demand is the segmentation process, right? So मार्केट सेगमेंटेशन इज वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट, राइट? हमें पता है कि मार्केट में कस्टमर्स की अलग अलग नीड्स हैं, अलग अलग वांट्स हैं। तो ऐसे कस्टमर जिनके सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ नीड्स हों, जिनकी एक जैसी ज़रूरतें हों, ऐसे कस्टमर्स को साथ में हम क्लब कर देते हैं और वो क्लब करके हम एक सेगमेंट बना लेते हैं। तो ये सेगमेंट बनाने का फ़ायदा क्या है कि जब आप कंपनीज अपनी मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजीज बनाती हैं तो वो बनाती हैं इन द लाइट ऑफ द नीड्स ऑफ कस्टमर बिलोंग्स टू दीज सेगमेंट्स, राइट? सो let's have a look on second point, that market segmentation defined as the process of dividing the market into distinct groups that share common characteristics, needs, purchasing behavior, or it can be consumption pattern. So market segmentation strategy that recognizes the need of specialization to suit the needs of a segment of the market rather than trying to be all things to all people, right? So here segmentation means that specialization to be specific to the specific needs of the customers, right? So this is all about segmentation process. Now why is it needed? Why it is needed? Why segmentation is required? So let's have a look. First point is to develop marketing activities. In order to develop the marketing strategies, right, it is very much required that this heterogeneous market should be divided into homogeneous market. If it doesn't so, then what happened? Then it will be very much difficult for the company to formulate the marketing strategies for all these various needs of the customers at a same point of time. So segmentation helps in developing the marketing activities and the strategies that can cater the need of the particular customers belonging to the particular segment. Then of course yes, when you are when you are very much specific to the need of the particular customer, so it will results in increasing the marketing effectiveness, which ultimately leads to efficient and effective utilization of all the resources. And moreover, segmentation helps in improving the manageability of the market. It is easier for the company to manage the market by dividing it into the smaller parts rather than to manage whole of the market, right? And ultimately it results in the more customer satisfaction, so it results in help to improve the company's ability to satisfy customers. Now these are some of the objectives of segmentation. So the first objective is to identify the similarity of needs of potential buyer within a segment and pursue them with tailored product. सो जो पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव है सेगमेंटेशन का वो ये है कि जो ऐसे बायर्स जिनकी सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ नीड्स हैं उनको उन नीड्स को समझना, उन बायर्स को उनकी जो ज़रूरतें उनके हिसाब से सेगमेंट करना और उनको फिर उनकी ज़रूरतों के मुताबिक प्रोडक्ट ऑफर करना, राइट। तो वही बात हमने लिखी है दैट आइडेंटिफाई द सिमिलरिटी ऑफ नीड्स ऑफ पोटेंशियल बायर्स विद इन अ सेगमेंट एंड परस्यूड देम विद टेलर्ड प्रोडक्ट। टेलर्ड प्रोडक्ट मीन्स द प्रोडक्ट एज पर देयर requirement, as per their need. Then second point is identify the difference between needs of buyers among segment and try to cater to these different needs, right. We know that each buyers are having different needs, so to identify the difference between the needs of these buyers and cater to these different needs is again one of the objective of segmentation. Then once the specific segment has been chosen for the marketing effort, the organization more focus. So ultimately, of course, yes, when you segment the market, then what happens? It results in making you more focused. It results in making the service provider more focused to the needs of the particular customer, right? अगर बहुत ज़्यादा नीड्स होंगी, अलग अलग नेचर की नीड्स होंगी, ज़रूरतें होंगी, तो उन पर एक साथ फोकस करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है। तो अगर जब आप उन मार्केट को सेगमेंट कर लेते हैं तो एक ऑब्जेक्टिव ये भी है कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिससे एक ऑब्जेक्टिव हमारा सेगमेंटेशन का ये भी है कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बिकम मोर फोकस इन इट्स एफर्ट्स एंड ऑफ कोर्स टू गेन मोर रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्रॉम द मार्केट, राइट। आप जब मार्केट एक्टिविटीज में ज़्यादा फोकस हो जाते हैं, पार्टिकुलर सेगमेंट को ध्यान से फोकस करके आप स्ट्रेटजीज बनाते हैं, so in that case of course yes, you will get a good return on investment. So to increase the return of investment is again one of the objective of segmentation, and of course it is cost effective for the marketer to assign the buyers to different segment on the basis of number of parameters. So again one of the segmentation objective is to be or to make the marketer more cost effective, right, by assigning the buyers to the different segment on the basis of different parameters. So it results in saving cost. Now let's have a look on the process of segmentation. So it consists of these three steps: survey, analysis, and profiling. So first step starts with survey. Of course, it is very much important to conduct survey in order to get insight about the reality of the market. Right. So here the survey is conducted to recognize the need of the market and to study the characteristics of market. So in survey, product attributes desired by customers, brand awareness, product uses pattern, demographic features like gender, age, income, family size, psychographic features of the attributes of the customers, right? These all are studied, right? So basically in survey what happened, we get more insight about the reality of the market by knowing about the characteristics of the customers, what they require, by knowing about by knowing more in-depth analysis, insight about the needs of the customers, right. So in survey stage, basically it focuses on to recognize the need of the market and to study the characteristics of market. Once the survey is completed, next stage is analysis. So after conducting survey, all information that has been collected is now tabulated and analyzed, right. So in marketing, these two statistical techniques, that is factor analysis and cluster analysis, are employed. We are not going in detail, but just try to understand this concept, just to have an overview of this concept. So in factor analysis and cluster analysis, what happens? Customers with a similar kind of needs are grouped together and put it into the one set of cluster. Put it under one cluster, right? For example, if you are going to the banking, availing the banking services, in that case, what can be there? Yes, the banking customers can be segmented on the basis of their needs, right. So we can have the various clusters, right. We can have the clusters of the one of the cluster or one of the segment of the school going students, right. They use banking services for the purpose of the scholarship only, right. Then another cluster or another segment can be consist of all bachelors who are using the banking services for making day-to-day transactions. Then another cluster may be young couples, right, who are making who are availing the banking services, various services, along with they are required for availing the government schemes, right. Then there can be the segment of the young couples with children, so they can use banking services for banking transaction saving, and as well as they are using it for availing the various schemes for their children, right. So then you can have one of the segment of the retired persons, right, who are availing the bank services for getting pensions, right, or various schemes related to the senior citizens. So this is how segmentation can be done. So here in cluster analysis, there are the various softwares like SPSS or any kind of software. You can have MATLAB and any software. In that, the cluster analysis is conducted by the software itself. Once the survey is completed, then the cluster analysis is the data is fed into the software, and clusters are generated by the software itself on the basis of the similar kinds of units, right. So this is how segmentation can be done. So these two techniques are very much popular, that is factor analysis and cluster analysis, for making the segment, for the segmenting the market. So once the analysis is done, then last stage is profiling. In this stage, all the identified clusters, that cluster that we have made, that we have identified, now profiling is done on the basis of the attitude, age, sex, need, personality, behavior, psychographics and demography of the customers. That what are the various attributes of that particular customers, what are the various needs, what are the various attributes of the customers in the particular cluster, right. So on the basis of these needs, we named the cluster, right, we named the cluster, or we named the segment. As I have taken the example of banking, so in that, yes, various clusters have been developed, but now young couples, so yes, this is the cluster of young couples, right. There will be the customers who are focusing on they are the, they are senior citizens, they are availing the pension, they are opening the various FD accounts. So on the basis of these characteristics, we can name them the senior citizen, right, or we can have another package like this, right. So school going children, school going students, so we can have on the basis of the similar kind of requirement by each and every students, we can name and give the name to the particular cluster as school going students. So we can have naming or profiling this cluster. And here basically the focus is on identifying the similarities and dissimilarities among the clusters. It is very much important that these clusters, there should be a clear cut differentiation among these clusters, right. They should not be overlapping, right. So what are the similarities and dissimilarities among the clusters for the demand of products should be properly analyzed. Now, next topic that we are going to discuss is how to have effective segmentation. What are the various key points that we should consider to have effective segmentation? So first is, your segment should be well defined. It should be small, right? It should be manageable. So of course it should be small so that it can be managed, right? If you are having a uh, large segment, large size of segment, so of course yes, the basic purpose segmentation is not going to be fulfilled, right. uh, so it should be taken care of, the sample should be small so that it can be manageable, it can be targeted and focused, and of course here the segment should be like that, it should be profitable, it should give return or investment to the marketers, right, and substantial size. So as I am talking about that, it should be small, it should be manageable, but yes, it should be of the substantial size so that it can generate profit. It is not either too small, right, because serving the small segment again cost you more. Serving the small segment costs you more, so it should be substantial size so that it can generate required profit for the company. Now just have a look on the various basis of segmentation. So It can be consumer based or it can be buying situation based. When we talk about consumer based, it can be geographic. Under geographic, we are having we can segmentation on the basis of region, on the basis of city, density, climate. Then on the basis of demographic, that is characteristics of consumer, it can be age and life cycle, it can be gender, income. Then psychography of the customers, it can be social class, it can be lifestyle, it can be personality. Then buying situation based, of course, what kind of situation the customer is going to avail your services. So it can be classified as either he can avail the service for the special occasion or on the basis of benefit sort, uses rate, loyalty status, and buyer readiness stage. So demographic segmentation, we consider this point: family size, family life cycle, income, occupation, education, religion, race. We can segment the customer on these parameters. Then psychographic segmentation, we can segment on the basis of social class, lifestyle, personality traits, belief, value, and attitude. In geographic, we can segment on the basis of the country, as we know that today is the era of globalization. So service provider not giving services only to the one country, but they are providing services to the various countries at the same point of time. So it is very much required to segment this customer on the basis of their country, because of course yes, each country is having their own culture, their own attitude, their own belief, right? So which we have discussed in previous lectures. So of course it is very much important to divide this on the basis of country or on the basis of region, or it can be on the basis of cities or towns, so that you can have you will find variation on these parameters among the characteristics of customers in terms of their consumption pattern, in terms of their purchasing behavior, etc. Right? Then uses. So now customer can be non-user. He is not using your services, but in future he can be potential user. He can be potential customer in fact. Then X users, then potential users are there, first time users or regular users, right? So the customers who are non-user, so companies are focusing on to put it to transform them, to convert into the potential user, right? So that yes, there is a scope that yes, that they can use our services. For that, they are coming up with various kind of advertisements, various kinds of promotion strategies to woo their non-users, to woo the non-users and make them, to convert them into their potential user and finally their user. Then loyalty status, they are hardcore loyal. Some customers are only very much stick to the particular service brand, right? They use that particular uh, services of the particular service provider again and again. Then there are some customers who are soft core loyal. They are not too much. They are loyal, but not too much loyal. They can switch in between. They can switch to the other service provider also. They are not too much loyal, they are not too much hardcore loyal to the service provider. Then third case is of switchers. Switchers are these customers who are not having any sense of loyalty for the service provider. They just avail the services where they find like yes, I am getting the benefit, right? So they are not too much concerned about the loyalty. They are not too much loyal to the service provider, and they are switching in between from one service provider to the another service provider. So we can have just have an example on segmentation. So in banking, there can be demographic segmentation, young couples, young families, older families, pre-retirement, retired, what we have discussed. Then mobile phone carriers, it can be segmentation can be done for benefit segmentation. Some people are using them telecommunication services for internet purpose, some are using for roaming, some are using for making international calls. Then if you talk about saloons, it can be again segmented on the basis of benefit. Some people or customers are visiting the saloons for getting their hair cut, some are visiting for hair dye, facial and massage. In restaurant itself, there are some of the regular customers, some of the customers who are going over there for the special occasions, some of the customers who are going for the business meeting or business lunch. So it can be the some of these examples. These are some of the examples of how segmentation can be done in case of services. So now the concept, next point is that developing the right service concept for the specific segment. So it can be done only by conducting the proper marketing research, right? The research should be conducted to identify and prioritize which attributes of the given service is important to the particular market segment, right? So again, individual may have different priorities in terms of purpose using the service, or who will take decision, how much time they are having for the for availing the service, then whether the service is used alone, or they are customer using the service in a group, or what is the composition of that group. If they are availing the service in the group, then what are the characteristics, what kind of customers are in that particular group. So all these points should be taken care of by developing the right service concept for the specific segment. Now coming on the next step, we are talking about STP, that is segmentation, targeting and positioning. So now coming on the next topic, that is targeting. Targeting means once the segment is clear and has been identified, then how to target that segments. How to target these segments comes under your targeting, right? So targeting the particular segment is the next step. So let's have a look at how we can target these segments. So there are various marketing strategies can be used by service provider. It can be single segment strategy, it can be selective specialization, product specialization, market specialization, or it can be full market coverage. So when we talk about single segment strategy, the company following this approach target only one segment at a time, develop a single marketing mix, and gain specialization in the segment. Then selective specialization, it involves targeting more than one segment, and here company prepares different types of marketing mix which may or may not be related to the same product or services to serve these segments, right? Then product specialization, a company adopting these strategies offer a single product or service to the various segments. You can have the example of auditorium in hotel, right? That particular auditorium can be used for business purpose, it can be used for celebrating the birthday, it can be used for uh, marriage ceremony, right? So the auditorium is the same, but again, but it is serving the various segments at a same point, right? It is used for business purpose, it is used for organizing conferences, seminar, it can be used for business lunch, it can be used for marriage ceremony, it can be used for celebration of marriage anniversary, right? So auditorium is the same, audi is same, but yes, it is serving the product is same, but it is serving the various segments. The market specialization, a company adopting this strategy is to meet the various needs of the target segments. Here company targets the particular segments and try to fulfill all the needs of these segments. Then full market coverage means that company adopts this strategy aims to offer various product services to the whole market. So let's have a look on this diagram. In single segment, you can find here P is your product and S is your segment, right? So here you can see in single segment, company is targeting only the single segment, right? Then selective specialization, company is targeting various segments. You can see P1 S1 or P3 S2, or you can have P2 S3. You can see that company is providing or catering the need of these specific segments, right? Then product specialization, you can have this product 2 which are serving the needs of first segment, second segment, and third segment. What the example I have taken, that the same audi can be used by for the business purpose, business meetings, or it can be used for birthday celebration, it can be used for marriage ceremony, so etc. Then market specialization, you can have look on this S3 segment, and here for serving the S3 segment, company is providing the various products P1, P2, P3 for serving the needs of that particular market. Then full market coverage, here various products are offered to the whole of the market, entire of the market. Now coming on the next topic, that is positioning. Positioning means how you are going to project the image of your product or the services in the mind of the customer, so that he can perceive the value of your offerings and he can differentiate your offerings from that of the your competitor, right? So it is very much important to portray or positive image in the mind of customers. So, let's have a look on some of the elements of positioning. So first element is the product itself. Here the consumer decides how important the product is and what it is important for serving his need. What is the importance of that particular product for serving his needs? Then only he will notice that particular product. Then the company itself, what kind of the image the company is carrying in the market, right? Better the company profile, better the perceived value of the product. You can take example, many times it happens that the brand name overshadows the name of company. We all know Amul. Amul milk, we all know, but yes, it is manufactured by Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. It is marketing by this federation, but no one knows the name of the company, right? Now, next is competition. So, product position done in relation to the various competitive offerings. So, of course, yes, it is again one of the important element. While you making the positioning strategies, you should consider that what kind of strategies or the offerings are provided by the competitor, right? Because in most of the cases, products are compared with the dominant brand in the same category. Then consumer itself. So understanding the consumer is very much important. Positioning is essentially based on consumer perception rather than factual evaluation, right? What is the perceived value of the customers? So again, for knowing that understanding the customer, it is very much important to understand the consumer behavior of the customers, which we have discussed in previous lecture. Now, how to position a service? So position can be done by specific product attributes and benefit. Right, here the common approach is that setting the brand apart from competitors on the basis of specific characteristics or benefits offered. You can take example of Subway. The tagline itself says "Eat fresh." Then positioning by features, right, based on single feature or attributes of a service. And here the position is done on the basis of some of the unique features that your service carrying. So you can find this kind of positioning by amusement parks. Then positioning by making comparison. Here the service is positioned against the particular competitors, right, in the market. For example, ranking of education institutions. Then positioning by benefit to the customers based on some benefit the customer derives from the use of that particular service. Then positioning as an expert, where the service provider portrayed themselves as an expert. Yes, they know the customer very well as compared to the other. They are expert, they are experienced in serving the need of the particular segment. So here you can take example of airline, which says the tagline says we understand air travel. So they portrayed themselves as an expert. Then positioning through guarantees. Here companies position themselves by taking guarantees that you will have the full customer satisfaction, otherwise you can get your money back. So this kind of positioning can also be done. Then positioning as a leader, where the service provider portrayed themselves that yes, we are number one. So you can take example of this Dainik Jagran, India's #1 newspaper. Their tagline says. Then positioning by culture symbol, you can have example of Air India, where they position themselves by associating their company with the culture of the country, right? Then positioning through emotions, so such as fear, love, kinship, concern. So you can see the tagline of Air Sahara, that is emotionally yours. So this is all about positioning, right? That how you are going to project the image of your offerings or your products in the mind of the customer, and these are some of the strategies that we have discussed. So students, please go through the various advertisements, look at the advertisements and just find out how they are positioning themselves in the mind of customer, how they are positioning their products, how they are projecting the image, And of course, yes, this projection can be done by the help of advertisements or by the help of various taglines. So just look on this. Now start looking the advertisement in this direction, that how they are positioning their product, how the company is positioning their product in the mind of customers, right? So from now onwards आप जो एडवर्टीजमेंट्स देखें तो एक बार जरूर ये नोटिस करें कि कैसे कंपनीज जो है अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को पोजीशन कर रही हैं, राइट? चाहे एडवर्टीजमेंट्स देखिए या कंपनी का लोगो देखिए, कंपनी का टैगलाइन देखिए, और थोड़ा सा उससे में सोचने की कोशिश करिए कि क्या बेसिस है, कि किस बेसिस पर अपने प्रोडक्ट को पोजीशन करें. सो यू विल बी हैविंग मोर प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ दिस थ्योरी व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. Now coming on the next is differentiation of services. So again, positioning is done, but yes, it is very much important that how you can differentiate your product. So it can be technology differentiation. You are coming up with some new kind of technology, for example, introduction of 4G, or you are coming with differentiation on the basis of pricing or the quality, or it can be product differentiation where you are coming up with some kind of unique propositions of your offerings. Then it can be customer service differentiation where companies are providing the specialty segments. They are providing superior services to their customers, right? They are coming up with some kind of superior service performance, right? You can take example of this Indus Land Bank. They have come up with a new concept, that is video branch, where customers are required to download the app and he can make the virtual tour of the branch. So then it can be based on the experience differentiation. Experience differentiation means what kind of experience he is having, right? He can, by experiencing your service, he can differentiate your service from the other competitors, right? Service of the service provider from the other competitors. Also that of course yes, once the customer can differentiate between these services, he can have the he will be having the certain kind of emotional bonding with that particular service provider. And of course yes, these social connections or the bonding results in the more loyal customers. So this kind of differentiation can be, you can find in amusement parks, cinema or shopping malls, where you can differentiate the services from the other competitors and have developed and can develop the emotional brand bonding with the service provider. So this is all about segmentation, targeting, positioning and differentiation. So thank you students. See you in the second module of marketing of services. Have a great day ahead.